Is this the best restaurant in Saratoga? Italian really hits home for me, so I had to check out this hot new restaurant deep in the heart of one of the more popular dining destinations in my area. For a special family night out, we decided to try this relatively new Italian restaurant called Noah's Italian, where the kitchen is led by Noah Frese, a young and upcoming chef popular for his stint at Ciro's in Saratoga, which is one of the more fancy schmancy places here in the capital region. I'm breaking down everything I got to try, including what's in my opinion one or two menu items that you can't leave without trying, and one that I would 100% avoid. For a meal set up to be this nice, I had to start out with some kind of adult beverage. Noah's Italian has a really nice wine list, but the Brooklyn Gavone that I am really was attracted more to the cocktails, and that's because I could tell they had a little bit of fun designing this cocktail menu. Everything was a reference to Italian pop culture, like the Shum Pulp, which is a nod to Tony Soprano, and then the one I ordered, which is called the Shine Box, an obvious reference to Billy Bats from Goodfellas. This is your classic old-fashioned with rye, amaro, and some really fragrant chocolate bitters. I loved it, but I just couldn't help myself.
Go get your fucking Shine Box.
Now, when you hear or see the words Mom's Spaghetti, you really can't help but follow it up with there's no Mackay Pfeiffer, and this appetizer at Noah's Italian is truly one that you can't skip. It's a fried puck of spaghetti sitting in a pool of well-assembled vodka sauce and then dusted with parm and a little bit of parsley. What I really enjoyed about this was the kick of whatever is flavoring that pasta inside, whatever that sauce is. Otherwise, this is really just a riff of arancini with a little bit of pop culture menu flair. This one is literally all over social media, so you probably feel like you can't escape it, and I would say it's okay to succumb to that peer pressure from social media because this is a good one. We thought the lobster bruschetta at Noah's would be kind of a lighter counterpoint to that Mom's Spaghetti, and overall it was, but I can't help but mention to say that I struggled a little bit with that mashed avocado that was on the toast, and also under the toast. With the light lobster, the crusty bread, and that punchy Calabrian chili, there's definitely a need for something kind of creamy or fatty, but maybe I'm a little bit too Italian to accept the avocado here, and I totally realize this could be a me problem, but otherwise this was a pretty solid snacker. My son, also a Noah, was really looking forward to the dessert at Noah's. He was kind of banking on that part of the experience, so he opted for something a little bit smaller for his meal, and for that he went with the prosciutto e melone. I had to sneak a little bit of a bite of this just because it's a classic and he wasn't going to finish the whole thing. I would say this is very nice. I feel like they may be infusing the olive oil with a little bit of basil because it was pretty green, and between the combo of that, the prosciutto, the creamy mascarpone cheese, and then a little touch of honey really helped to elevate what I consider a pretty flat melon flavor. Prosciutto and melon is totally a classic thing in Italy though, so this is a really good rendition of the classic. Picking an entree at Noah's Italian was going to be a little bit difficult for me, but I at least narrowed it down to two items, and that would have been either chicken parm or the pork milanese. The deciding factor for me here though is the $32 chicken parm. For me, it's a little bit of a hard sell where the description really doesn't help to elevate it any differently from the ingredients that I would use at home, and I'm no slouch when it comes to Parmesan. So pork milanese it was. I feel like the shining star of this dish was that little bright salad that was on top, fennel and arugula, and that lemon beurre blanc under was also really good. It was a nice little contrast of the vegetal stuff and then the pork, which is a little bit heavier with the fried coating, and then that lemony kind of flavor, very good. Milanese is really the type of thing that relies on the supporting characters, and that little salad on top was freaking spectacular. I even made note of this to Chef Noah when he came out of the kitchen to say hello. But there is one menu item at Noah's Italian that I cannot in good conscience recommend, and that's the ciabatta bread service for $5. Now look, I appreciate the fact that the butter alongside was very good, maybe a little bit too cold for spreading, and I guess there was supposed to be some kind of Parmesan gelato now that I look at the menu, but I don't think that came to our table. And hey, the bread was fine, but I wouldn't say it was anything more special than anything that would come to the table at your typical red sauce Italian restaurant. Now, I appreciate that the typical clientele in Saratoga wouldn't really bat an eye over $5 bread, but when you're trying to win over the heart of a new diner, when something like the free bread comes to the table and you don't expect it, it's a little bit more impactful. Dessert was what my Noah was most excited for at Noah's Italian, and he had his eyes on that creme brulee cheesecake, a New York style cheesecake with graham cracker crust, berries, and a little hint of basil. I was so focused on how spectacular my dessert was that I almost forgot to try his. Almost. Now, if you follow me, you know I'm obsessed with tiramisu. I even just started going to my local places and seeing if I could figure out who makes the best tiramisu in my area, and I think I could pretty much stop here. The presentation wasn't anything special. It was as classic as can be, and that's a good good thing because it made it all that more outstanding to taste that rich chocolatiness and the creaminess here. After the meal, I had to shoot Chef Noah a message telling him that whoever made that tiramisu did a really, really good job. So from the undisputed king of tiramisu, much respect. So do yourself a favor and get yourself to Noah's Italian as soon as you can, preferably before Saratoga track season, because I have a feeling this place is going to be hard to get into, and God only knows what's going to happen with the prices once track season sets in. If you enjoyed this, make sure you hit like on the video so more people like you can check it out. And as always, subscribe for more food videos. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you have an amazing day.